zany, over-the-top fighting and a fantasy roster spanning the ages, WWE All Stars draws a stark distinction between it and the comparatively sober spin of the SmackDown vs. Raw series. Clearly aiming for nostalgia with its arcade feel, it seems like a game with a lot of juice for WrestleManiacs weary of the same yearly gruel. Is this throwback trip through time really worth a dive?
Rest in peace.
This match is scheduled for one fall.
It's easy to take one look at WWE All Stars and assume it's trying to get by on its oddball style, but the game is really about its sensational take on combat, which serves as a welcome divergence from the stodgy stamina wars driving most wrestling games today. Instead of individual battered limbs, you've only got to sweat the linear life bar that depletes as you take the licks. The end result is a simpler, cleaner style of fighting that doesn't stumble on itself as the battle wears on. From classic greats like Jake the Snake Roberts to recent breakthroughs like Sheamus, WWE All Stars touts a sizable 30-man cast, drawing from all eras of wrestling history.
Of course, Sean. We're right here in the new
WWE video game from THQ.
Designated into specific classifications like Acrobat, Big Man, Brawler, and Grappler, each superstar brings a unique list of abilities to the ring that greatly determines the way they play. For fighting and wrestling game fans, it's a great touch that gives texture and variety to the fundamental formula. But even those less inclined will appreciate the level of detail, and in some cases, ludicrousness, that went into recreating each fighter's moveset. When put against the massive list of modes comprising SmackDown vs. Raw, WWE All Stars may seem a bit lean. Nonetheless, it covers its bases with essential match types like standard triple threat, fatal four-way, and tornado tag team bouts. Homespun modes include Path of Champions, a simplified career track, and Fantasy Warfare, a prearranged collection of dream tickets matching up wrestlers across time for various themed bouts.
And I'm the Macho Man Randy Savage, and when that comes from me, that says something. Ooh, yeah!
While the modes don't necessarily introduce any new or novel elements, the sharply produced cutscenes and video packages contained within definitely make them worth checking out.
Welcome! Oh, yes!
Character customization comes without a mode of progression to hitch itself onto, but the potential to concoct fun and grotesque creations is no less great. Extra outfits, finishing moves, and venues are unlocked throughout the course of rigorous play, topped off by ranked and unranked online modes featuring every match type in the game. While WWE All Stars can't compete with other wrestling games in terms of raw content, its contemporaries should definitely pay mind to its fresh take on the actual fighting. It'll be interesting to watch the series grow in the future. Let's just hope it's not around the chest area. Much like the muscle-bound cast's monstrous frames, combat in WWE All Stars is big, boisterous, and well outside the bounds of plausible reality. Some would call it a return to the genre's classic arcade roots, an easy observation when drawn against the game's outlandish visual style. But in truth, All Stars plays more like a clever mixture of past and present, crossbreeding its whimsical flights of fancy with tried-and-true conventions of the genre. The controls fit like a well-laced boot. Strikes and grapples come in light and strong flavors, following buttons that deflect enemy advances, vault your character into a light sprint, and control your position in and out of the ring. When put into a sequence of well-timed combinations, a deeper shade of the game's system reveals itself. Strikes become combos, airborne opponents can be kept aloft with juggles, and throws can seamlessly link into one another in a devastating chain grab sequence. There's a complexity to All-Star style that demands skill and execution, but even mixing it up with a few simple punches and grabs feels great in itself. Pulling off a few intermediate techniques will pave a simple and satisfying path to victory, but your most lethal means of dishing out the pain culminate in the signature and finisher moves, a two-step program sure to send most hapless targets on their way to a KO. Running on parallel energy systems much like Street Fighter 4's Supers and Ultras, signature and finishing moves provide you with the means to go nuts once you've filled up the corresponding meters. Upon zeroing in with the signature move, the house lights dim as you're treated to a special rendition of your key technique. Give or take a shockwave or two. Finishing moves provide a similar effect, though if your foes are already teetering on low health, the final blow could very well signal the end of the match. WWE All Stars unabashedly breaks tradition for something bold yet familiar, and is largely successful for it. It isn't completely foolproof, with the occasionally suspect hitbox or collision detection issue, but still manages to redefine the ring experience with a good deal of substance and levity. You've no doubt already caught a whiff of our opinion of the art style, which seems to lean toward a love-it-or-leave-it action figure aesthetic. The general visual quality of the game is solid all around, with a good handful of subtle touches. Rings rattle after every resounding impact on the canvas, while welts and bruises begin to form after you've taken one too many lumps in battle.
Hi there. Allow us to introduce ourselves. We're Degeneration X.
The aforementioned video packages handily lead the high points of the game's production values, while laggy interface elements provide a bit of a downer. WWE All Stars pays as much tribute to the classics as it does the games and superstars of today, reinvigorating the wrestling genre with a fast, fun pace that most anyone could appreciate. If you dig classic wrestling games but are turned off by the ultra-complex, sim-oriented direction the genre has taken, then WWE All Stars is exactly what you're looking for.
And if you're not down with that, we have 2 words for you. Suck it!